Hey, hello, you're stuck in traffic with Wolf Gold. A couple-minute riff on IT and IT security today, looking at cloud asset management. Everyone wants to secure the cloud, right? And every time someone says, we need to secure the cloud, there's always that one person who brings up that old joke, right? You realize the cloud is just somebody else's computer. But you follow that to a logical conclusion. You start going, all right, fine. How do we secure our computers today? How do we secure technology today? And how do we secure it when it's no longer in our environment? And one of the most fundamental ways of security is having a good asset inventory, right? Control number one. So the tip to you is, if you're looking to truly secure your cloud services, begin with having a good inventory for cloud services. No one does. No one does. A recent study showed something like 928 cloud apps are currently used on average by organizations. And that's up from the year before, which was 824, I believe. 928. Now, you may go, okay, that's a lot. How many do CIOs know about? Well, that's kind of hard to say, but I'll tell you, another survey, same time period, asked CISOs how many cloud apps they thought they were using, and the answer was 40. About 40. So in other words, today's CIOs oftentimes have visibility only into maybe 5% of the apps that are out there. And this happens all the time. Great example of this was the CIO told me he went out with one of his business units, and they're out to dinner, and the guy was bragging. He's like, oh yeah, my people are so smart. I'm like, hey, the real smart. Oh yeah, they read all the time. Oh, okay. He's like, you would not believe our Amazon bill. Wait, what? Oh yeah, we spend $5,000 to $10,000 on Amazon every single month. This business VP was convinced that was because they were reading and learning. When they dug into it, of course, the CIO rapidly found that they had spun up a bunch of Amazon Web Services, which were going to this Amazon bucket, and they were in the cloud. Surprise! 5% visibility, not uncommon, happens all the time. So how do you get good visibility? How do you understand what you have? Especially when, I think, if we're all honest with ourselves, we oftentimes don't even have that good of an inventory of what we already have on premise. Right? Oftentimes I say, start off with, do you have an asset inventory and configuration management database? And they're like, well, sure we do. Honestly, well, if it's right over, no. No one does. So what do you do when you're faced with 928 cloud applications that you don't know about? How do you get your hands around that? Well, typical ways of doing asset inventory. You can do interviews. You can ask people what they're using. You can do workflow and business process analysis to map out the business process and figure out what touches the cloud. Both of those are time intensive. You can do and prone to not being entirely honest if people don't want you to know about things. You can do analysis of your gateways, your proxies, to figure that out. There are, depending on your firewall rules or your proxy vendor, there are different things that can create a report for you. And of course, there's probably a myriad of different point solutions that will also inventory what cloud apps are being used, providing they're going across your firewall. If it's a BYOD or people are across the globe, things get a little more tricky. But we have to start there. If we're going to answer the question, are we safe, are we secure? We have to start with answering the question, what are we even trying to secure? What's even out there? What do you think? You got a good way to build it up an asset inventory of all these apps that we're using? Hit me up in comments, social media. Have a good weekend.